Wammo breakfast.
The Radio Wammo breakfast.
Kiwi.
Let's go staring into the night sky. We do it with Dylan Storey. We like to call it Dylan Storey's Astronomy, with thanks to the Auckland Stardome Observatory. G'day there, Dylan.
G'day, Wammo.
Today we're talking about, first up, space travel, but in relation more to how space travel affects astronauts physically.
Yes, well, it's not very good for people. It's not very good for humans. We're used to existing in this environment with gravity constantly pulling on every muscle that we have. So when we're in space and there's no gravity to speak of, there's no resistance to any of the muscular movements, and that causes the muscles to rapidly degrade, which is a big problem for astronauts. That's one of the biggest ones. Now, they compensate by doing a lot of exercise, but it's very difficult to exercise in space because, of course, weights don't weigh anything. And
we see that quite a bit, don't we? On the with pictures of the space station, we see astronauts working out all the time. It's like, well, is that all they do up there?
Yeah, well, it's a big part of what they do. They've got these special treadmills and spring machines, and I think they have to spend something like at least 4 hours a day doing this exercise. So I mean, imagine that 4 hours of your workday just spent just maintaining your body, and it still doesn't. There still is a lot of muscle degradation caused by that, just because I mean all these muscles that we don't even really know exist that rely on that resistance of gravity. So there is big muscle wastage, and when astronauts get back after spending any time in space, they struggle to stand up. Because
Really?
I mean, imagine being on a trampoline.
Yeah.
When you jump on a trampoline, then you try and jump on the ground. That sort of feels like, imagine jumping on a huge trampoline for weeks or months at a time, and then trying to walk on the ground.
What? So it's not that the fact that your legs or your knees are are wasted. They've been doing something repetitious for far too long.
No, it's partly that the body just gets used to just being able to move around effortlessly.
Okay.
But also there is a lot of muscle wastage.
Yeah.
And there's lots of other problems too, like the calcium in the bones sort of basically boils off because there's no because of the no gravity to hold it in.
Yep.
And so that causes the bones to degrade, much like osteoporosis.
And what about sort of other, rather not so much physical, but things like eating, your eating habits, sleeping, general pain, that kind of thing?
I know they do experience a fair bit of discomfort, because the little things in their ears are telling them which way is up. On Earth, of course, in space there is no up, so these things are confused. So that there's a kind of a seasickness that most astronauts experience.
That would definitely be me. I'm terrible.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
it counts me out. But
I'd imagine sleeping would be a weird thing. Sleeping.
Yeah, I think it would. I think that there are people who have obviously, if you get screened, there's vast screening to get to astronauts. To get to become an astronaut, you've got to go through so many tests, and I think there are people that are very physically comfortable with themselves. I mean, I know for me that would be my problem. I don't sleep here at the best of times. But I think they strap themselves in, and they seem to sleep all right. But I know that tasks like eating and drinking, like they become reluctant to drink fluids because that means they have to go to the toilet more. But they have to really keep their fluid intake up a lot.
Yeah. So the fact that we now know this stuff, and we've had astronauts up in space long enough now to know all these various effects. This, I guess, has implications on longer term travel, say to Mars.
Yeah, well, that's certainly one of the big plans for human spaceflight in the future. But it just shows sort of it is difficult for people to survive a trip to Mars. That's between 7 and 9 months away in space, and so by the time astronauts got to Mars, they'll be in physically pretty bad condition, and then by the time they get there, they've got to undertake this huge task of supervising the thing landing and getting on Mars
and taking on the aliens. I mean, that's got to be You get it.
Well,
You're
you
tired.
gotta-
You get out of a spacecraft, and then there's the aliens.
You want to be in peak physical condition to take on that stuff.
Exactly. All right. Well, so okay. Thanks for that. That gives us an idea of the trials and tribulations for astronauts. What about us down here on Earth tonight? What can we see in the night sky?
Well, this planetary conjunction that I've been banging on about, that's still going on. So you can still see Venus and Mars right next to each other in the western sky after dark. Of course, Venus will be very bright. We had a sort of a misty night in Auckland the other night, and for some reason that sort of dimmed every other star, but not Venus. So it really made Venus stand out as much brighter than anything else. You know, it was the only thing you could see in the sky for a while there.
Yeah, cool.
We've got the big Scorpion above us, Sagittarius just below that,
Yep.
and if you stay up a bit later, the next planet, the other planet that's not in the west at the moment, that's Jupiter. That will be rising due east.
Jupiter rising. Okay. And what's happening at the Stardome?
Well, the Astronaut was a segue into that. There's a show called Astronaut, which is all about what it takes to become an astronaut and the challenges of going up into space and that sort of thing. That's on it. That's the 7 o'clock show at Stardome. It's narrated by Ewan McGregor, and it's a really good show.
Oh,
And
excellent.
at 8 o'clock, there's the Sky Tonight, so that'll again be talking about those planets that you can see in the night sky.
Brilliant. Well, there's a few things to look forward to at the Stardome. Dylan, we'll talk to you same time next week, and once again, investigate space, the final frontiers.
Yes, we'll have some other massive topic to bring to you.
Thanks, Dylan. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's now 9 minutes away